Good afternoon, everybody. I'm out here in the woods for the day, or afternoon, and evening, and till tomorrow morning. Walking down through the trees, filming myself is always fun. I'm gonna take you in here and show you what we have planned for tonight and in the future. Walking down in here, beautiful. All by myself out here. I do have a friend supposed to be coming out tomorrow afternoon, but I've got a Christmas tomorrow also, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet up with them or not. But we'll see, hopefully. But here we are. We're walking down through the woods, and we're going to start working on a project. I don't know how much time I'm going to end up having to devote to it, but we're going to work on it. We're going to get her done. And we're walking here through our little camp. And we're coming over this way. The pond is just right there. So we're just off the pond. We're going to walk across our little bridge. Well, the little bridge. An old tarp that we found that we need to do something with, but we haven't decided what. Get out here. Oh, this will be fun. We're going to work on building stuff out here. Some infrastructure for when it's stupid cold and I want to come out here and spend time outside. Alright. And I guess it's Veterans Day. I camped right here, so I kind of have a spot cleared out. And I built, if I can get it out of my arm, I built my little rocket stove. So we have a little spot here set up for me. And right here, where I'm standing, I'm going to work on building a little shelter. It's not really going to be bushcraft because where we are, we don't have a whole lot of down trees. And everything we have is fairly decent sized live trees, and we don't want to cut a whole bunch of them to build anything too bad. But I have access to some big pallets. So I'm going to build a little pallet bushcraft fort shelter doohickey. Probably could have called it a fort more than anything because, you know, it is. But then we can come out here and exercise our bushcraft skills, and we're probably over here. We may end up, let me flip the camera around so you can see it easier. Just a second. I'm standing here where my shelter will be, kind of in this open spot where I'm at. Might have to trim a few more branches up to make it, but I'm thinking this tree stump here from this dead tree is going to have to go. And when we come out, we're going to, between these two trees here, we're going to lay another pallet up on edge for a windbreak. And probably we're running around the backside of my rocket stove. And right here, and we may move that rocket stove over just a little bit. And then right here where that charcoal is from cooking in my cardboard box, I think we're going to try to put my fireplace right there. I kind of have an idea, but I don't know how exactly it's going to work. But then we're going to probably put some pallet between these couple trees here and windbreak it. That way I have a nice little spot, and probably cover part of it for wood storage. I'm not 100% sure what size we're going to make it, and I'll spin around real quick. It's just kind of a nice, well, let me back up farther. I'm horrible filming today though, but we're going to stick it right here on the other side of that cutoff stump, kind of there. It kind of makes a square-ish shape with the trees, you know, kind of boom, 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 and back up this way. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to lay out. Got to get some pallets drug down first to see for the long walls how we're going to do it. And if I remember right, the long walls are about 13, or the long pallets are about 13 foot. So we'll drag a couple of them down here, and so we'll probably be 13 by, I don't know, anywhere from 8 to 10 wide, depending on what I can make fit. And I do think I'm going to more or less make it straight to that far back tree. So it's going to come over and then up this way a little bit like this, instead of going straight to the trees, because if I did that, it made it a little bit flatter, and then I don't have to move any dirt, because I really don't want to move dirt if I don't have to, because that causes erosion and we don't want that. So I might have to trim that back cedar up, but all the branches I need to trim up are dead anyway, so we'll save them for the rocket stove. So it's a multi-use, because see here, we cut a bunch of the dead ones down here for the rocket stove last time we were here, and make room for all of us. I did leave all of the cedar chunks a little bit long, because you never know if you need to hang stuff. But I'm trying to decide if I hurry up and make sure I have at least somewhere to sleep in there, or if we don't just set up somewhere else real quick with a tarp and lay our stuff down and my mat and stuff, and then here we'll walk back to the regular camp, because I got to go back up anyway and start carrying stuff down. But here's our one little camp. And any of you guys that come for the Country Prepper Memorial Camp for Jeremiah, this is where we will be having it. Here in the woods. It's my family's property, so we have permission to be out here. And this is one of the rims we got from Bearded CB82, and he made the fancy, well, he bought the rack, but he built it with the swivels and stuff that hooks onto the rebar. And he works for a trucking company, and you know, when they get people that do that to tires or rims, the rims are no longer good, but they work great for fire pits, because it's not going to move. And then this is where Tack and Brenda had their little shelter. They built the little bench. I think Brenda did it. They got their little fireplace, and then we got some wood storage just to keep it a little dry, and the grill, and Tack's table, bushcraft table she made. So we've got a little camp here. We do have another fire pit and stuff down on the other end, and then we'd had people camping here and up on the hill. We do have room for everybody, and it'll be fun, and we'll be joyous and relaxing, and it's a good cause. Plus we get to spend time outside and meet people. But there you go. Here's kind of the overview of what my plan is for today. I think I might try to hurry up and get a camp set up real quick. That way, in case something happens and the weather turns off gross, I have at least somewhere to camp, and I can work on my shelter as the weather's fit. It is kind of almost starting to drizzle just a little bit. No need to struggle. Now I got to decide how to string my tarp up. But I'll figure that out, and I'll bring you guys back as I'm putting her up. Alright, here we kind of go. It's getting a little dark. So I got the flashlight out, or headlamp. I've kind of got a, let me get back farther so it'll pick it up in the phone. I kind of got a cone-shaped tarp set up. I tied up the middle on the rope, and I tied it both down on both ends, and then it kind of goes in there, and I got a tarp laid down, and my Reflectix, my mat, my mummy bag. I do have my to-go systems bivvy to put on it yet. I didn't have my sleeping bag rolled up or anything. I just brought it from home and laid it out. And I got a pillow and stuff. Then I got my new battery bank that I got for Christmas from my brother. And of course the 45, because can't do much without it. And then I've got a semi-rim that I've kind of tipped up to help throw the heat back at me. And then I've got my lantern going out here. It is an Arizona tea can, so it's a big, tall one. I did rake the pine needles away, but it looks like I need to do better. And then I made just a little gas stove with two more pop cans or beer cans or whatever. They're the regular sized ones. The one I saw, they just used regular beer cans, but I thought this was so much bigger. Then I threw a wick in it, and then I threw lit it. Or I used regular lamp oil. I knew I wanted to try it, and I brought some extras. That way I can make a few more if I get time. But I think that's going to work really good. I'm not sure I've got the wick quite right because it is awful smoky. But for just building it, I didn't know where to set it and how to do it, and thought, what the heck, we'll try her. And let me shut the headlamp off. It gives a really good light off. The wind is blowing just enough out here that it's kind of going a little crazy, and we'll keep burning that sucker and we'll see how it goes. But just with that, I know the phone doesn't show it as easy, but it's giving off enough light that I could do something out here if I wanted to. But with the headlamp, it just makes it that much easier. Then what I'm doing, I don't have to worry about it as bad. And then I drug everything in with the sled. And this is just every bit of camping gear that I had in a tote. The blue jeans I actually was going to take and cut up and make char cloth tonight, but I forgot my tin. So I'll probably get it cut up, and that way next time I'm out here I can do it. And I love the stuff bags from different things that I just always, and then I brought bottled water out. My wife dropped off bottled water just so I don't have to go down to the pond and mess with it. This is just an overnighter. I'm not surviving out here. So, and then I got the griddle and the deal that goes on it, and I'll show it. And I've got the rifle for deer hunting, and then I've just hung the backpack and other coat up on the tree. I didn't want to hang them over here yet until I got it done. And then of course I've got the fire pit clear back there. The rocket stove, I'll probably use it to boil some water because it's just fun to play with. But I want to get a fire going in here to help pump a little bit of heat in that way and do that. But I thought I'd give you a quick update of what I've been doing. Got a little dark on me quicker than I was hoping to. And it's chilling off pretty quick, so fire is definitely on my next order. I was going to try to do a cool flint and steel fire, but I probably am not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to make a bird's nest and get it going, and with a bunch of these cedar sticks, and I'm not going to do as fancy fire. And of course I forgot the tripod, so I can't film myself and do stuff. So just one of them typical nuisances. Plus I got a chunk of cow and some potatoes for supper. We'll get this fire going and get some coals going, and we'll get this set up, and we'll do some cooking on here, get some stuff, see what else the wife dropped off, because she was at the grocery store when I come out here, and she just stopped and dropped stuff off, so I'm not 100% sure what I have to eat. So we'll figure it out together, and there you go. That thing's just awesome. The Survival Metal Man is who I seen do it, and he just used a couple beer cans to do it, regular size. So I saw these Arizona tea cans thinking, you know what, that'd just be awesome, just more area to reflect the light. It is really sooty, and I figured I had lamp oil at home, I just use it. He actually used motor oil as a survival in your car thing, which I really thought was awesome. I never would have probably thought about dumping motor oil in it. So now that I have one with lamp oil, my thought was I have a little bit of oil up in the vehicle, and I may wander up and get it and light one and just see how they compare. put one, leave that one going there and get another one over here somewhere. I did bring some wire to hang it from a tree, but as much as I still got fire going everywhere, it kind of makes me nervous about hanging it too close to anything, that I almost think setting it on the ground there is about the best thing you can do. And I brought the rake down. I got it over there. That way I could rake the needles back, because last thing we want to do is burn this all down. But there you go. Just kind of what I got going on and what I'm planning. We're working on supper. I've got the grill up on there, and I'm cooking myself a New York steak, or New York strip steak. And then we've got potatoes and onions and garlic with some seasoning and butter. And I'm gonna have a glass of hot tea, just because. And then I've still got my little can going. It's definitely running out of oil now compared to what it was doing. But I had to burn the rim for a little bit since it was new. Try to burn the paint off it as best as we can. I didn't quite get the post in straight, so the whole thing wants to swing, so I just put a point on this chunk of cedar and shoved it in the dirt. That way it would quit swinging around on me. But there we go. I've got supper cooking. Dang it, I think I forgot a fork. I guess I'll have to use my big spatula, my A-OK Foraging and Adventures spatula. But that's what I got going on. And I've got my little lantern light up, and I just been sitting here on the tarp at the end. Got the wool blanket in. I did forget my bivvy, so we hope we'll stay warm. But I do have my big blanket over there, my moving blanket still too, that we can throw on, so we should stay warm. But just showing what I've got going on. Steak, seasoning, onion. Yeah, that's what we've got going on. And then I did, while I was doing that, I've been cutting firewood on my stump, which has been really handy for that. And then I did stack all of the cedar pine needles around the outside of my tarp on both sides to try to block any wind that would come in. Kind of a view of the back of it. It just took the middle point, tied it down, and then folded everything else underneath just to get it out of the way. But there's all of that. I did not fire up the rocket stove. I might do that for water in the morning. I don't know. Maybe we won't fire it up this time. But got my eggs for in the breakfast in the morning. Maybe we'll boil a couple, make some hard-boiled eggs tonight. Use that water in my Nalgene bottle. Keep me warm. So that's what I've got going. Just a quick update. And I'll show you guys everything when I get done cooking. Supper's done. Sitting here under the tarp with my light on. Got the fire going. And can we get the food in it? I've got the food. I've got the steak. And well, let me get the spatula out of the way. It's kind of hard to do this all one-handed, or one-handed with each. I got the potatoes and steak. And my wife brought me an orange soda. And in the bottom under the steak, I found 2 beers. She loves me so much. She got me 2 tall boys, even. So I'm going to sit here and eat. I'm going to finish the orange soda first. And then I'm probably going to drink a beer. Then I'm going to have my tea. That way it warms me up before I crawl in the sleeping bag. But there you go. I'm probably just going to call this good for tonight. It's kind of hard to film in the dark. I do need to do a review of my WowTac headlamp and flashlight. About 3 knives. A little bit of everything. I've got my new power bank that I'm really liking. I just gotta spend time out here to actually do it. I don't want to do one of them typical knife reviews that sitting at a table, not using a knife, just looking at it. I want to actually show using them. Getting picky, but I've got stuff planned. Hopefully more camping this winter. Hopefully we can go snowmobiling and to camping, but we'll have to see what the weather does. If it's too cold, I'm not going to go, but if there's snow on the ground, it's not going to stop me. But here you guys go. I'll show you tomorrow morning when I get up, tell you how I fared, and show you breakfast, and hopefully we'll get some work done on the shelter, or fort, whatever you want to call it. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. What do we have here? A really, really nice dead pine tree. And I found it last night. This is how I got my fire started. I cut some of the little stickers off. And if you look at that, that is completely full of fat wood. Then I got lazy today. I whacked it with the axe and busted them off. And they were pulling the whole hunk out. I thought I'd show what I did to show how I'm going to get my fire started this morning. I'm down here. I whacked one in half with the axe. We probably will quarter it. My old trusty, dirty, rusty axe. And I was sitting here whittling last night with the cedar, so I got cedar smell out here. Oh, it's just wonderful. And I did burn the tire pretty good, or rim. Got most of the paint out of it. I had the thing in one of the pictures that the bottom, where I could see it, was glowing. So we pretty well killed the paint on it finally. But I split this one in half. Oh, and you can just smell the resin in it. And it goes pretty well clear to the end. So we're going to take two of them, because I knocked two of them off. We're going to split them up and get them all going and feather stick them. And I will show you what I have going after I get it done, since I haven't went and found my tripod yet. I'll show you what I've got going on. I went and found myself some dead cedar bark, which my good friend Lee Ralph from Kansas, since they don't have pine trees, says this is his go-to fire starter instead of any of the pine stuff, since they don't have any pine. And I took it and I crunched it up and got the fiber showing. I did cut some of my jute twine that I take with me and took it apart and fibered it out. I did cut some. This one's a really coarse feather stick, but I got some nice curls. And of course, I always like to do it over top of a rag or an old shirt or something. That way, all these little bits that fall off, because it never fails, you always do, because nobody ever shows that part, but you always get some small curls and stuff. I always try to do it over a cloth of some sorts, and that way I've got it. And then I'm just going to use light my fire ferro rod. It comes with the little striker. This is my favorite one. It's not very big, but man, this thing shoots sparks off of it. This is usually my go-to one. I do have a big one, but I've kind of quit using it a little bit because it did come from my good friend Jeremiah. So I still use it sometimes, but I'm trying to make it last as long as possible. But this is my go-to one. This thing you can start clear down here at the end. Throws sparks off of it every time. I had been using my Mora knife, but I don't even remember which one it is. I've got so many of them, I forget which one's which. It was a cheapie that I found here at the local farm and home store. And it was like $7. And so I don't know which one it is. It's probably, I don't even want to butcher which one it is. I don't have a clue anymore. I lost the packaging and I've just been using them. But yeah, this thing, and it doesn't have a spine. My Pro S, we sharpen the spine on, so it works really good. But that's why I like this one. It's got the little deal. But this thing just shoots sparks. And then I've got that, and then that is all split fat wood. And I have some sticks over there, and some more sticks over here in my pile of pine needles I racked up. Plus I've got some split wood back here. I should be able to get it going, but I'm going to take it over there and get it fired, and I can't hold the phone and try to strike it without doing it. So I'll try to get my phone picked back up as soon as I can after I get it going. Alright, I've got my fat wood burning, and I'm throwing some more little chunks on. That's some cedar, some more cedar pieces from my whittling last night. I'll start throwing some of these bigger hunks of fat wood on. Well, if I don't put it out, maybe. Oh, I can sure smell that resin burning. Ooh, I'm about to choke that out. Oh, look at all that black sooty stuff coming off. About now's where you about can't put the fire out. There's that. I'm going to process this down a little bit shorter. It is a little bit longer than I really want to get this going. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to split it in half with the axe real quick, and I'm going to get it going. And I'll show you with it roaring good before I get ready to cook. Coal's going now. I'm going to show, since it got dark, I didn't really get to show the cooking system we have. Brandon at Bearded CB82 made this for us to use out here. It's just a regular grill grate. I don't know if this is a replacement one or if this is one off of a grill that went bad for him. I didn't ask. He welded a pin in it right there. And turn it, it's just heavy. He's got the pin welded in it for the clevis. And he put a handle on it out of some scrap steel of some sorts. I'm not sure what it was because I can just tell it was something scrap. But then he took the clevises with the threaded rod and put it on a pipe. And I got a stick that fell out while I'm doing this, so we'll have to throw that back in real quick. Here we go. And he just welded it to a piece of pipe with the pin. And where this is threaded, it sits on the nut that he used. And that way it keeps it tight. And then he's got another piece of pipe with a nut welded to it with a bolt to tighten it so this doesn't move. The only thing is I either need a thicker piece of rebar, or I think we're going to have to weld a net to the back side of this where it tips. It's loose because it's just kind of a pain in the butt right now. Plus I don't know why. I must not have got this quite straight. It wants to swing out away from the fire. And so then with this, we can adjust it up and down for the different heat or a different fire. And then this just, I can do it one-handed. See, it just wants to swing. All right. And then I stick it in. So then this will spin. This can adjust. I can't adjust this up or down. I'm going to tip it side to side, but with it not sitting quite right on that rebar, it just wants to swing out. I'm not sure why, but that's why I had this other stick. I just shoved it in the loose dirt right here, and this is all it took. I just shoved it. Oh, I can get it shoved back in. I just pointed the stick. It doesn't have to hold much because, I mean, it's not really doing anything. It's just keeping this grate from spinning down, because I probably didn't put that in straight because it was getting pretty dark when I started messing with it. So there's my grate cooking setup that Brandon made us. Thing's going to be handy. And then I'm just going to cut up some onions, and I brought some eggs from work, so they're fresh, harvested yesterday. We're just going to fry them up and scramble them, and that'll be my breakfast. And I'll show you my whittled fork, since I forgot a fork, when I get done. Alright, I've got everything cooked up. I even got my fancy spatula, a split piece of cedar I just been using to stir it with, and you can see I got the eggs and onions and garlic, and I just been stirring them on there. I had it on the fire, but I just took it off because it was getting pretty well done, and I'm just gonna eat them. Well, I gotta grab my fork since I forgot mine. I made one. I took a piece of cedar and split it down, carved it thin, made a handle on it. It should work good enough. Get it shoved in. And if I don't like it, I'll throw it in the fire and I'll make a new one. But there we go. Just eating breakfast quick. And I'll get a kind of an overview. I mean, not trip over stuff. I got firewood drug up here. I just got the tarp with just one tie out in the back, sloped down from the roof, and I stacked all of the needles and stuff I raked up out of there. And I just have another tarp on the bottom so I don't get the needles and the moisture coming up. Got my Reflectix, my pad, my sleeping bag, my to-go systems, bivy, and then my wool blanket and my moving blanket. Harbor Freight, both of them. Just proving you don't need expensive tools or equipment to have fun out in the woods. Harbor, or a cheap tarp, you know, it's what, 10 bucks? Chunk of rope across. The light bulb there was like 8 bucks. That's the nice light. That thing is awesome. It clips to, when I hammock camp, I use it, because then you can see underneath the tarp. The pad is Walmart, you know, that's like 12 bucks. The pillow come off my bed. I usually go by without, but I've been not sleeping well at night, so I kind of brought it with. Army surplus bag. The to-go systems bag was donated to me from Jeremiah. Harbor Freight. I just throw all my stuff, because actually there, the blue bag right there is my hammock. That's all my camping stuff I usually use. I do have more, but that's usually what I take. I can roll up all my tarps and my Reflectix and my foam pad. All of that goes in there, and then I can just take it, throw it in the sled. I have more money in my sled than I do the rest of everything. It works. Get some time out in the woods. It's beautiful. Refreshing. And I just tied the ropes between the two trees, tied the tarp to it. That one had the eyelet out, so I used a tarp clip. I used the tarp clips on the bottom with the bank line to some stakes. Beautiful. Eggs. I got to show these eggs off real quick before I'm going to probably burn my eggs. Look at the shell on them. They're green. Yes, they're not even washed. That one kind of turned color from the other egg, but it's kind of a gray. We got brown, white. You know, we've got all kinds of chickens, so I figured why buy chicken eggs when I can bring them for free. But there you go. There's a quick overview. Eating lunch or getting breakfast, and then we're gonna go over there, start clearing and get some pallets drugged down, and we'll go from there. I gotta charge the phone. It's starting to die. I'm gonna test my new battery bank out. But there's that breakfast. Look how dark yellow them yolks are. Fresh eggs. They're awesome. Hey everybody. I think I'm going to sign off right here. It looked like my light was on in the camera, but it's not. And I am going to give you a sneak peek on what I'm working on behind me. My head's kind of in the way. I'll walk down there, but I'm going to tell you guys all goodbye. Thanks for watching. There's definitely more to come because I'm still set up and I'm working back there, but I figure I'm already probably half hour, 45 minutes in. I might as well make a second video, and I might as well sign off and tell everybody, you know, sneak peek. You can kind of see what's going on back there. Stay tuned. It'll be a good one. You guys be good. Talk to you later. Late Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Get out in the woods. It doesn't cost that much just to spend time out there. It's good for your mind and soul if you're like me. See you guys. Thanks for watching.